This is a flipped class video to show you how to multiply and divide using scientific notation. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to complete this warm-up where you're writing these two values in scientific notation. And when you have that done, go ahead and start playing the video again and check your answer. Okay, so now that you should have this done, this is just reviewing how to write a value in scientific notation. So you can only have one non-zero digit in front of the decimal point. So we would have 9.0 times 10, and then we would count the number of places we would have to move the decimal point. So the decimal point started here, we needed to go here, so that's 3, 6, 9, 10. So we have 9.0 times 10 to the 10th. This one on the right, we have a small number, so we're still going to have one number in front of the decimal point. The decimal point is going to go between the 1 and the 2, and then we'll have times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the negative 10th power. So now let's go ahead and continue this warm-up. I want you to take these values that are written in scientific notation and write them in standard form. So pause the video and check your work when you come back. Okay, so you should have 517, and you need to move the decimal point 12 times because of this exponent. So it started out between the 5 and the 1. You're going to count 12 times. 1, 2, well, I need 10 more, so I'm going to add 10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have this nice, ginormous number. This one, we're going to write 9185. Here's where the decimal is between 9 and 1. We're going to move it once, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4 more zeros out in front. So that is just a reminder on how we go back and forth from standard form to scientific notation and vice versa. So we are going to work on multiplying and dividing numbers with scientific notation, which when we have very large numbers and very small numbers, it is to our advantage to use scientific notation to be able to compute with these numbers in a way that is nice and efficient. So our first one looks like this, and it's almost kind of like combining like terms in a way. So I see these values out in front, okay, like these coefficients here, the 2 and the 4. So I'm going to multiply those two numbers together like I always would. So 2 times 4. And then I have times 10 squared and times 10 to the third. Well, so 2 times 4, that's real easy. That's 8. And then here, look at this. I have the same bases being multiplied together. And if we remember our exponent rules, that means that we would add the exponents together. So this becomes 8 times 10 to the 5th. And if I wanted to write that in standard form, I know that that is 8. And then I would add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So it would be, what, this number, 800,000. I want you to go ahead and pause this video here, try this problem, and then we'll come back and check it together. So we would have 7 times 8, which is 56. And then we have 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 3rd. We're multiplying these same bases here, so we would add these exponents. So I would have times 10 to the 8th power. Problem is, this is not written in scientific notation correctly because we have two numbers in front of the decimal point. So if I wanted to put this value into scientific notation, then the value would be 5.6 times 10 to the 9th power. Go ahead and try this one. Write your answer in scientific notation. Pause the video and come back and check your answer. So we would do 9 times 5, which is 45, times 10. My exponents are 3, and remember there's an invisible 1 right here. So 3 plus 1 is 4. But again, this is not written in correct scientific notation because I have 2 digits in front of the decimal point. So this would become 4.5 times 10 to the 5th power. Okay, one more like this. You go ahead and pause the video, try it, come back and check it. So you would have 6 times 3, which is 18, times 10 to add 4 and 9, which is 13. This is not in scientific notation because I have 2 numbers in front of the decimal point. So it would be 1.8 times 10 to the 14th power. This one has negative exponents. Everything applies, same thing. Go ahead and try it, and then come back and check it. So 8 times 9, 72, times 10 to the negative 7, plus negative 4, is negative 11. We need to move the decimal point over 1 this way, so we would have 7.2 times 10 to the negative 10th. All right, so here's division, okay? This is going to be the same idea. I'm going to rewrite this so that it looks like this, just because I like that a little better. Same thing, though. And instead of multiplying these coefficient numbers, if you will, I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm trying to get the highlighter. Here we go. I'm going to divide those numbers. So 6 divided by 3, or 6 over 3, is 2. And then I have these 2 exponents, or these 2 bases that are the same that are being divided, so I'm going to subtract the exponents. So I would have times 10 to the 11 minus 4 is 7. So that's my answer. It's already in scientific notation, so we are good to go. So I want you to go ahead and try this one on your own. When you're done, come back and check it. So you would have 9 over 3. You could think of that, and then like times 10 to the 20th over 10 to the 9th. So let's see what we have. This is 20. So 9 over 3 is 3. Oh my, don't want an equal sign. So we have 9 over 3 is 3 times 10 to the, well, 20 minus 9 is 11. And we are in scientific notation, so we are good to go. This one, go ahead and try it. We have a negative exponent down here, but that's okay. We're still going to approach this problem in the same way. So go ahead and pause the video. Come back and check when you're done. All right, so you would have 8 over 4, and then you would have 10 to the 8th over 10 to the negative 5. So you would have 8 over 4 is 2, and you have to subtract these 2 exponents. So 8 minus a negative 5, that's kind of like adding, so that's to the 13th. That would be 13, so we would have times 10 to the 13th power. We're in scientific notation, so we are good to go. All right, so this one I think is our last one, and we're going to combine the 2 ideas. So what I would do first, I would go ahead and simplify the numerator by multiplying these together, and then we'll worry about the division. So I'm going to just tackle the top here. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then I'm going to add these exponents together. So I would have times 10 to the 11th all over. Now I'm just going to copy the denominator. 9 times 10 to the negative 3. So from here, I'm going to divide these values, which gives me 2, times 10, and then 11 minus a negative 3 is 14. So that is my answer, and it is written in scientific notation. Last one. You go ahead and try this one and come back and check your answer. All right, so 7 times 6 is 42, and then I'd have times 10 to the 20th on the top. Going to copy down the denominator. 42 over 2 is 21. I'm going to subtract these exponents, which gives me times 10 to the 13th. This is not written in scientific notation. I'd have to write it as 2.1 times 10 to the 14th. So hopefully you have a pretty good understanding of how to multiply and divide with scientific notation. You should be able to start working on your Khan Academy assignments for this objective. There's 2 of them. And on Monday when we come in, we're going to start working on some practice problems with just this idea. So make sure that you come in with a pretty good idea of how to multiply and divide with scientific notation.